Hey guys, it's Paul Harrison here again on Wednesday afternoon. I hope you're well. Just before markets open, let's get straight into it. So we've got TAP, which got some resistance at around about 46. A heavy sell-off yesterday, so this trade's probably gone unless it's going to come back up to the resistance line as well. Then we have HOV. HOV, an upward trending support line. Maybe we just missed that day, that particular day. It's gone. Again, some wild moves in these markets at the moment. It's getting kind of hairy out there. We're seeing a lot of stocks that are actually starting to move a lot more aggressively than what they have done previously. So, as I said on my Facebook status today, it's a little bit like I hope this doesn't happen, but it's a little bit like standing in a crowd just before a riot's about to kick off. You know, it feels like something's up. I don't quite know what it is, but no doubt time will tell. Here we have an upward trending support line. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Just coming down now, so no issues there. I'll tell you what I do like about this, and obviously nothing is a recommendation here, but I do like it's made prior highs as well. So previous highs were around about 13. It's broken above that 13, so it shows that it does have the potential to be able to go higher. The rest of that, obviously, you understand. You understand how that works. Then we have X. A downward trending. Yeah, we had a look at this on the workshop. Not the workshop. The webinar, and it's put in a new, basically a new support line there now. It's broken through the previous one, and it's put through a little bit of an entry point there. US Steel. So yeah, it's come down a pretty big day, and then it's actually sat on that support line. Then we have HOG, which is Harley Davidson. A upward trending support line here. Again, it's come up to some resistance, and it's sold off from that resistance. Something to be aware of, obviously, that resistance is longer term than the upward trending support line. So that would be something to be aware of as far as your take profits go. Then we have ODFL. Again, upward trending support line. Again, folks, we've got all these upward trending stocks. You know, you don't have to have stocks that are just on horizontal stocks or horizontal support lines in order to find long positions. This is why we teach you the longs and the shorts here as well. And again, it's come down to that support. You could probably just move that support line down marginally. It's put a very sort of small area of entry there. So yeah, you could probably get a pretty decent ratio on that. ODFL, then we have LTD. LTD, I couldn't see a trade on this one. I couldn't see a trade on that. Then we have PCAR. Again, an upward trending stock. The highs are getting higher as well. Again, it's just so critical to get entry points with these kind of stocks. A little bit gappy there, but it moves a little bit off the support line. But again, all of these stocks are pertaining to the rules. It's just up to you to find which is the best one to suit you. Again, upward trending stocks. I do like the highs have gone higher. It's on the support line. Probably a very, very big day there for an entry. You'll probably be risking a fair amount. SCCO. Again, an upward trending stock, and I like the way this stock takes off from the support line. Although it's probably moved. If you got into this yesterday, you're probably in some pretty decent profits. Not the most perfect entry point, but obviously it took off there. So again, if you had have used that as the perfect entry point, you wouldn't have got in there or there. So if you were still committed to the trade, you would have had your stop order 1% above the high there. Then we had ANR. Again, an upward trending stock. It's come down, hit that resistance line, and has listened to that resistance line as well. The previous longer term resistance line, definitely a stock you'd want to use a stop order with if you were to trade it. That's ANR. Then we have cost. Again, same thing, upward trending stock. Are you be able to get the margins? That concerns me a little bit. Some pretty big moves there, but yeah, this is why we use stop orders if we're going to trade them. EMC support line around about 22.94, 23. Some resistance around about the $25 mark. and that is quite nice as far as an entry point goes. That would concern me a little bit, but I mean, that stock's done things like that before. So yeah, if it had 2 days of half that level, then I would be a lot more excited by that. Then we have EXPE. Again, another upward trending support line. I've probably got my support line marginally high there. Could probably move it down. Support line around about the 62. So your 10% is probably not going to be there, but again, as you develop, as you evolve as traders, you're looking for your ratios more than your 10%. Then we have FRP. Upward trending support line. I like the highs have been higher there as well. Put in a slightly small up day there. So, yep, FRP, GPS. We have an upward trending stock here. It's come down off some previous highs, but still the lows are getting higher, which is a good sign. I'd probably wait for another day or two. Keen to see that come and put in a really nice little entry point. I am a bit of a stickler with these entry points. I mean, you know, you can trade, and as long as it's following the rules, you can take the trade. But really, what I'm looking to do is really refine my entry points here. Again, Huntsman. Yep, no major issues with that. Upward trending support line. It's been a bit large there, but you see something like this where it's come in, and you know, if you were going to look at taking the trade around about this area, you know, breaking the high of this bar here and using the stop loss of this bar would just minimize your risk so much more. And it's those little tiny little things that make all the difference. Then we have KLIC, which is an upward trending support line here. You got your bounces, down day there, which doesn't really excite me. Plus, I mean, I could probably move that stop loss to the support line down a little bit, but again, you're going to have to use that stop order to trade it if you were going to trade it. FCX. Support line at around about the 31.50 mark. It sold off here. Notice this. Look how it gapped down, and it came down to the support. It actually put in a day below the support there as well. So, I mean, you could move it down a little bit, but it's interesting when you see how it gaps down. There's all the momentum behind it, and then as it comes down here, all the buying takes place, because obviously everybody's got automatic buying systems that are coming in there at that price, and it rallies back up. I mean, sometimes, more often than not, you see a consolidation here and then the break of the line, but the break of the line came the day after there. Yes. We have NE, November Echo. Upward trending stock, and this stock moves pretty significantly. Look how it moves pretty rangy, and it's certainly not a quiet stock. And when you're trading stocks like this, I mean, look at you know, there's a lot of money on the table here from 40 down to 36. That's like 400 points that have been done in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just over a week, you know, just over a trading week, it's been done. So with these kind of stocks, if you were to trade them, you can be a little bit more liberal, you know, because if you get into that trade, the chances are it's going to go quite quickly. But you don't want to just get in and then it sort of whipsaw. When you get these bigger moves, you can actually get the whipsaw where you can get in and out at the same time. So that was NE. Then we have IRWD. Yep. Which is a resistance line around about the $14.50 mark. Possibly could move it up because you've got to use the highest point, which I think is that one there, as your stop loss. Yeah, pretty okay range on that. CME, Charlie Mike Echo, again an external resistance at around about the just under the $60 mark. It's not there at the moment. There is an internal resistance line that's forming here at the moment. I wouldn't trade obviously this internal resistance line. I would want it to get to the external one there, so possibly a alert for that one. Then we have Charlie Foxtrot. Support line at around about the 195 mark. Put in a what we call a shooting star. It was still a slightly down day yesterday. I would prefer a smaller day like we've seen here, because that is again going to hit our ratios there. But again, I guess you could move the stop loss down a little bit. This is going to be a big stock to trade. If you trade this, you better have some money in your accounts, because these kind of things, I mean, look at this. You've got these kind of moves can really cost a fair amount of money. CF, and they can make you a fair amount of money as well if you get them right in a FC. Support, pretty straightforward. Support at around about 19. Wouldn't be something I would trade right now. If I put in a doji today, I might be interested. Then we have EXXI. Support around about the $29.50 mark. Again, settled up a little bit yesterday. And you've obviously got more than your 10% on there as well. And Yelp. Couldn't see a trade on this. Unless you were talking about an upward trending support line from November, December, January and February. I guess that's pretty close to the 4-month barrier. But yeah, it's upward trending. Be aware of a shorter term resistance though around about the $22.50 mark there. NQ, November, Quebec, downward trending resistance line. Bang, bang. It's come up there. Pretty big up day yesterday. So if I was interested in trading it, I'd want to see it put in a good entry point there for me. ANR, have we done an ANR? ANR is coming back down. I know some people traded it from there. It came up to that resistance and now sold off again. Oh yeah, we spoke about it just now. It's come back down to that support line. Just remember again, this downward trending resistance line is longer term again than the upward trending support line. CVGW. This is what you call a pretty angry stock. I'd probably move my resistance line up to around about the 28.50 mark. Because then you've got the tops of all those bounces, and of course if you've got the tops of all those bounces, what that means is you're actually limiting your risk. Okay, so that's a bonus. Obviously we want to limit our risk as much as possible, because it's not all about just making big profits, it's also about being able to save what you currently have. Then we have BMA, which is an upward trending support line. Nice little bounces. Again, the stock's getting a little bit crazy here. That may have been your entry point, but it hasn't broken 1% above and it hasn't broken 1% below either. You'd have to calculate your ratios on that though. So it's sort of making some, it's got some indecision that's going on there at the moment. Then we have FDP. Do we have FDP? No, it was FPR. Okay. FDP, upward trending stock. Again, I like it. It's quite linear. Again, it does move quite drastically though. It can move. It's not a timid stock again. But this is what I'm talking about as far as nice entry points. It's come down to that support line. It's put in a pretty big day yesterday, although sorry, not yesterday, the day before that. But that's a nice little up day. You'd be looking for the break of the high if you were to take that trade. Yeah, FDP, BAC. Upward trending stock. Some recent sell-offs, obviously in line with what we've seen in the markets. It's come down. This is just prior to the open now, so I'm not sure what it's going to do. But a big down day yesterday. ACI. Support lines going all the way back to late June. Yeah, nice support. Some pretty decent support, some pretty decent resistance. Quite a small stock though. Let's have a look at the entry point. The entry point is quite nicely dictated there as well. So again, it comes down to your ratios and your risk reward if you're going to make a profit on that. The stock's been going up. We've got obviously the bounces. It has broken that previous resistance, which is a nice thing to happen. It's come down and sat on that that actual support line. How much you're going to be able to get in at versus what you're going to be able to have as a stop loss might be a bit of a far range. So that would be something obviously you'd have to calculate. CBEY, upward trending support line. The highs are getting slightly lower, but still getting in at 774. If you were looking at that kind of area, it's put a little bit of a doji there as well. So yep, not going against the rules. Then we have a CLCT. I had that before. Downward trending resistance line. I'd say it's probably not ready to trade right now, maybe the next couple of days. But I do like it's been downward trending. The lows have also got lower, which is nice. It does show that it's got the potential to keep moving down. BLL. It's not near rock bottom either, so you don't know where that consolidation is going to be. Okay, then we have this upward trending stock, Ball Corp, upward trending, bounce, 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 come back down for that support line. Not a perfect entry point, but again following the rules. EMC support line at £23. This, if I was looking to trade this, I mean, you can see EMC here has got a pretty nice entry point, but unless that's today's price, which it might well be. 26, is it 26, 27 today? That's 27, so that was yesterday. Okay, so I would, if I was going to trade this stock, I would use a stop order on here, even though you don't have to. You could actually use a limit order because you've got your 1, 2, well, maybe actually 1, 2, 3 bounces possibly. But I would want that further confirmation the stock's going to go back up, because what you find is sometimes when you have that heavy sell-off, there is a pullback. You'll never get stocks that will continue going down all the time. What they'll do is they actually pull back, and that's where you see some profits. That's where you see some slightly green day. So if I was going to trade that, I'd certainly want to use a stop order to get into that trade, because I'd want that further confirmation of change of direction. Then we have MOLX, MOLX. Again, an upward trending stock. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Nice little entry point there again. Most definitely going to be using a stop order should you want to trade that, because again you're going to get that confirmation of the change of direction. PII, upward trending support line. The highs have got higher. It's got a little bit crazy as it's come down over the last couple of days. Put in a big doji there. Doji good, that kind of range not so good, depending on really what you're risking and what your potential reward is there. TIF, a downward trending resistance line. Tiffany's been selling off a little bit over the last fair amount of time. A big up day yesterday, so that wouldn't overly excite me for today, but the next couple of days, if it hovered around that resistance line, then you know, it's sticking to the rules. Then we have V, upward trending stock. A lot of the time you're not going to get these upward trending stocks are going to have huge ratios to begin with, because they'll come up to, say, if you were to trade this, get in at say 57 or 157, and then your extended resistance line would be 166. That's not even 10%. But the thing is, with these stocks, you're looking at a slightly longer term, because you'd expect it to go up and then come down and then go up, and of course that's where you make the money in the longer term trades on these upward trending support line stocks. We have X, an upward trending stock. This is US Steel, and again it's followed that support line quite nicely. There is an area of resistance that it's adhered to as well, and it put in a nice little doji there. Again, you might find a lot of these dojis, these little dojis or little green days, might just be up days from the snapback, basically, of the big sell-off. So just be aware of that in the markets today and any day after a big sell-off in a particular stock. And here we have an upward trending stock from mid-November, all the way up there. Probably a little bit too tight a time frame for me, but it's I guess it's debatable as we're about to head into March now. So there we go. I hope that's been helpful, and yeah, best of luck with your trading. Cheers, folks. Bye bye.